Hey, David Brewster here, new episode of Three-For-All. This is three George Lynch licks from 1995, and I've had some requests to feature more of George Lynch's music, and there's already quite a bit here on the channel. There's Three-For-All episodes and chordplay, there's chords of Dokken, chords of George Lynch, the acoustic side of George Lynch. So definitely I'm a big fan. And basically I was goofing around on the internet last week and I spotted this footage. It was filmed at a guitar clinic in Milan, Italy in 1995. I'd never seen it before, and it went on for a while. So I watched it and I was like, man, I'm going to grab some licks and revisit, some George Lynch. Definitely a dynamite guitarist and one of my biggest influences for sure. So if you're a George Lynch fan, buckle up. Here we go. So I actually saw Dokken live with my sister. That was back in the day. We were puppies back then. That blew my mind, even though we were really far away from the stage. But to see Dokken in action, and then I did catch a guitar clinic with George. That was in 2002, and I was going to the clinic with one of my students at that time, Troy Pence. What's up, Troy? But we went to the clinic together, and I got to meet George and got an autograph. And it was kind of similar to what I noticed in this footage from the guitar clinic in 95, even though the guitar clinic I saw was in 2002. But George was jamming to backing tracks and playing. He did some, Dokken licks and stuff like that, Mr. Scary and whatever. And then did a big, meet and greet after the show, which was really cool. And definitely George Lynch, there's just something about the way he puts things together, his riffs and these dark tonalities and these twisted sounds. Great guitarist for sure. So I think I already let this cat out of the bag, but the licks in this episode came from a guitar clinic in Milan, Italy in 1995, and I stumbled on the footage. And it was interesting because George was playing with backing tracks. He was kind of just jamming around. He did a little bit of Q&A, played some Dokken stuff, and then somebody from the audience got up. I don't know if that was an instructor or a student at the school or institute or wherever this clinic was. And then he played a couple songs with George, and then another guy got up and played a song or two with George. And no offense to the two that got up and played, but I would have rather watched George play more than watch him jam with two people I didn't really know who they were. But it was still interesting footage, even though the first part of the video is where I grabbed the licks from. The second half had all the jamming and stuff, and I didn't really bother with that area. Anyway, just a heads up. Okay, the first idea is this melodic intervallic idea, and this is in D minor, and it's really cool. It kind of serves up this typical, George Lynch kind of sinister tonality, like this. One more time. So it's an interesting, stretchy, intervallic, blurry lick, and we're in D minor right there. And basically moving from this E to F, and then grab that A, and then you're going to catch that D with your pinky way up on the high E there. Like that. And there's actually a unison happening right there. You're going to end on that F note after the D to that A, back to that F. And then pick up F right there on the G string to that D note on the G. Right? Then you're going to take that D note, slide down to B flat, and then pull off that F to D, then grab that C note, bend that to D, release it, and then you're going to slide, shift slide into that D note, and then end on that C. So really slow. And I just like the way that lick's put together. It's really interesting and melodic and musical, and that's true for all of George Lynch's licks. He always, has a knack for arranging or doing something, kind of different, and there's just something cool about that lick. One more time. And I just really like the way that's put together. It's got a nice intervallic, kind of melodic structure. And it just has a cool sound to it too. Next up's this bluesy melodic phrase. It reminds me of Blues Saraceno a little bit, and now we're in C sharp minor. And it's something like this. It's really interesting. One more time. So it's kind of interesting phrasing too, like this kind of start and stop stuff going on. So shift slide into this B note and then catch that C sharp. Grab that E, and then you're going to basically shift slide F sharp to G sharp with a slide. And then you're going to basically grab that B note right there on the G string. And then you're going to basically do this C sharp, B, C sharp. Grab this E there on the B string, go back to that C sharp, and then grab F sharp. Shift slide that F sharp to G sharp there on the B string. And then you're going to basically reach all the way up there, grab that B, grab C sharp, and bend that C sharp. It's like a step and a half. Like that. And if you go through that one kind of slow, you can see what's going on there. Like that. So it definitely has a really interesting feel and rhythmic, you know, kind of flow to it. But I like that, where you're just kind of lifting off the notes to kind of mute it quickly. It's got a lot of attitude and everything too when he plays it. You know, really cool lick, and I love the way it's rhythmically kind of interesting because you've got that start and stop kind of muted phrasing in a way, and it's bluesy too, and it reminds me of Blue Saraceno, like I said. One more time there. You know, a lot of feel, a lot of energy in that lick, and you can exaggerate, you know, some of that start and stop phrasing, but kind of unusual George Lynch lick because you don't really hear George play like that very much, but I liked it. One more time. Okay, next up is this expressive extended bending idea, and now we're in E minor, and we're doing something like this. One more time. So we're in E right there, and he's grabbing E to G, and then he's going to bend that G to A, and then he basically extends that bend up to B. So we're doing this, but we're doing that with a bend. Like that. And then he starts doing this like kind of choked, like pinch harmonic bending. Like that, kind of squealy. So it's interesting that we're in E, and then he's really just kind of choking that bend in the beginning with that extended, and kind of doing that extended, you know, reach with the bend. And the best way to do that is you're really going to need to reinforce. You know, you can actually see in the footage George is using all of his fret hand fingers there, and I am too. Because you're going to need all those fingers to help you bend, and then also your thumb over there for some leverage. Especially getting that extended part. You're kind of reaching up to that B note. And then the... really expressive, really interesting, extended bluesy bend from George. Alright, here's a bonus lick from this footage, and it's this blurry flat 5 slip and slide idea. This is really cool. We're still in the key of E or E minor. And it's something like this. One more time. You know, something like that. So we're still in E or E minor. We're going to grab this A, shift slide into B flat, back to A, grab G, E, and then hit that G again. And then you want to do that 3 times in a row, like 1, 2, 3, like that. And George is just cramming that in there like that. You know, that's a cool lick. Then take that, move it down an octave, and do it right here. Do it twice right there. Take that, move it down another octave, and do it once right here. So after you do all that, then hop over here, grab this G, bend that up a whole step, and then release it a half step. Like that. Like that. But you're doing it with a bend. Like that. Cool lick right there. And I like that extra, you know, expressive bend at the end. Cool lick. Alright, that's going to wrap this look at 3 George Lynch Licks from 1995. Definitely one of my favorite players. He's been an influence of mine since I just started playing guitar back when I was a preteen or early teenager. And I definitely remember, you know, obviously being obsessed with Van Halen. And then I remember my sister had a VHS tape that had a bunch of music videos on it, and Dokken's Just Got Lucky was on there. And she would watch that music video 100 times, like every day. And I remember watching the video with her and stuff, and then like she would leave and go to her room or something, and I would grab my guitar trying to figure out how to play Just Got Lucky. And then eventually, of course, I started buying some of their albums and stuff. But there's just something about George. I don't know what it is. I love Dokken's music. Lynch Mob's cool too, but I'm definitely a Dokken fan and have been forever. Of course, Dream Warriors and all that stuff. There's a horror movie connection, and I'm a big horror movie fan too. So it's like, yeah, Dokken rules, George Lynch rules. And like I said, I just kind of stumbled on this footage from '95 and I watched it. I'd never seen it before. It reminded me of the guitar clinic I saw in 2002. And then I just started thinking about it. It's like, yeah, I haven't featured George for a while. Let's grab these licks and kind of dive back in there. Definitely a legendary guitarist, and I have had a lot of requests to feature more of George's music too, which made me feel great. So anyway, leave some feedback and comments. Please subscribe to Night Lessons, and I'll be back before you know with more content and material. Thank you.